Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. I'm tripping out right now. I am fully geeking because I've just... what? This? What? Sorry. They just released patch notes for Modern Warfare Zombies. I'm going to cover the actual patch in a different video. I'm going to be playing the game and exploring the new patch. You can expect that in like 2 hours maybe on the channel. So subscribe so you don't miss it. But right now, why is the VR11 on my screen? Sorry, can we get a zoom in real... What is going on? Wait, I'm so baffled right now. It says, Zombies, Rifts, and Wonder. The zombie story continues in Season 1 when Strike Team operators are tasked to investigate a massive mysterious gateway that's appeared in the exclusion zone. A gateway? Excuse me? Am I reading this correctly? Am I just completely losing my marbles here? It's possible. After 36 hours of streaming that freaking game to get to that worm boss fight, it's very possible. Enter the Rift. Inside Dark Ether Rifts, operators will encounter a sinister and chaotic challenge with limited time on the clock to complete objectives and escape with their lives and sanity. Bro, I've lost it already. I'm already like 8 out of 9 lives gone here, guys. Dark Ether Rifts are a new endgame experience. Endgame? To master once players have completed the seasonal mission? Let's go! I thought this was going to be some corny little side objective to get 100 XP, bro. That sounds great. Friend zone? No, we don't want to be doing that, Treyarch. A modified VR11 Wonder Weapon. But it's the VR11. I swear before it was the VR11. Why is it now the VR11? That's really weird. Or maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't think I am wrong, though. Let me know in the comments down below. Wonder Weapon packs a punch, transforming enemies, zombie or human, into loyal allies. Gear up, a new category of unique acquisition schematics that will test the player's skill to unlock. Huh? Unique acquisition schematics? Is that just schematics for stuff that's already in the game right now, and we can't craft it? Like, for example, is that going to be a schematic for the Scorcher? Is that maybe what it's going to be? Or is it going to be actually something new? Because it doesn't really specify there, which is fine, but at the same time, I would really like that kind of clarified, you know what I mean? Because I'm assuming that this Rift, this endgame activity, which is going to be specifically something for players to master once they've completed the seasonal mission. Wait, there's a seasonal mission, but it's only a mission? So it's not an act. Because in the game right now, we've got 3 acts, and those acts contain what? Maybe 15 missions in each one? Something like that? It's like roughly that number, I would say. So a sinister and chaotic challenge sounds good. And limited time on the clock sounds difficult to evaluate based on the fact that so much is new in this zombies experience. And there's stuff in this zombies experience that at face value, I would write off as just being awful, like having enemy AI with guns in the world, for example. I would write that off instantly as being terrible. And yet it sort of works. So is this going to be a situation like that where it's like, okay, limited time on the clock is something that normally I'm like, why is that there? That's not what I'm playing zombies for. And people already hate the timer as well. That's probably a bigger point than anything else. The timer itself is probably people's biggest gripe with the mode right now. Nobody likes playing for 45 minutes and then having to get out when you've just got all your stuff. Like, you want to enjoy that power spike. You don't want to just feel like it's this transient thing that slips through your fingers and then suddenly it's gone and you have to do it all over again in the next game, just grinding to gear up. And then once again, you have to exfil. Like, it's frustrating. So in a mode where we already have limited time on the clock, how exactly is it going to work where we're going to have to spawn in with more limited time, because the time that we'd otherwise be spending just gearing up for the normal activities is now spent gearing up for the normal activities to get us to be powerful enough to get us to this point? How's that going to work? Like, are people going to hate that? I'm not judging it right away. I'm just saying that that's a fear that I have just based on reading it, that I think you guys are probably going to have based on reading it as well, and that Treyarch are going to maybe need to do a little bit of careful navigation of in the rolling out of this update. I mean, it's obviously not just Treyarch, it's Treyarch and Sledge and all the support studios that are working together on it. But, I mean, it sounds cool. Objectives and escape with their lives. Again, it's like, does this mean that it's going to be a forced exfil? Like, is this going to be something where similar to how it currently works, where you have specific exfil points for specific missions. So there's like Shepherd, there's defeating Zakaev, there's all the three of them. I can't remember what the third one is called. But is it going to be that this is going to just be another custom exfil point, and therefore it's going to be another story mission? I mean, maybe when they're saying here that it's once you've completed the seasonal mission, maybe the seasonal mission is the story mission, just like how each of the acts only actually has one story mission. And maybe the other 14 missions that I was talking about that are in the acts right now, in each of the acts, maybe we're going to get those too. It's just going to be the story mission itself is the only one that they're really defining as a mission, because it's the only one that meaningfully transforms the gameplay in a big way. Like, obviously the other missions right now have small changes, so you having to grab ciphered tablets, and you trying to pick up the DG2 plans from Legacy. That only happens, obviously, when you're on that mission, or it's intended to only happen on that mission. They've also fixed, actually, in the patch notes, Legacy not dropping those plans in the, I think it's called Storm the Castle mission, which is something that when we were doing it first in the world, we ran into that bug multiple times where Legacy wouldn't drop the right stuff for us, and we literally had Treyarch tweet at me on Twitter being like, heads up, this is a bug, we're working on it. And Treyarch then came into the chat to watch us beat the boss fight. It was crazy. That was like one of the coolest things that's happened in a long, long time for me. It was so cool. But just the flow of that being a story mission format and going to that world will mean that presumably we are no longer in the previous actual sort of geographic space that we were in. Like, we'll no longer be in Urzikstan. And I'm not super opposed to the idea of being in Urzikstan per se, but I do think that might mean that the kind of addition here has a little bit more longevity, because it'll be a new story-specific area for us to explore, and hopefully won't just be more generic facility stuff, because those 3 missions right now teleport us to 3 locations that don't feel like zombies at all. They feel like Warzone. I mean, it all feels like Warzone, because it is Warzone, right? But it would be really incredible if we were teleported to an area, and it sounds like that's what's going to be. If we're going inside the Dark Ether, it sounds like that's going to be a space where we're going to be able to much more sort of presently explore the Dark Ether itself, and I'm hoping that will then give Treyarch as a team a little bit more opportunity to really lean into the environmental storytelling that I think is absolutely lacking in a horribly significant way in Modern Warfare Zombies so far. Because as it stands in Modern Warfare Zombies, it's a mode set in the Warzone map, and so everything looks like Warzone, everything feels like Warzone, and none of it feels like the zombie story. Whereas if we can go to a space that is absolutely full and present with zombies paraphernalia, if you will, things that are relevant to zombies that a zombies fan might stumble across and go, oh my god, that's a thing that I can connect to this story and this radio over here. Like, no one's even looking for the audio logs at all in Urzikstan. No one cares, because people aren't really hooked on that new story yet. But it's almost the catch-22 where they're not going to get hooked on that story until they're sort of given reason to care about that story, but the reason to care about that story is hidden behind the things that they currently don't care about. So it's this sort of awkward scenario where Treyarch, I think, needs to step in and kind of push people, or push that content rather, in front of people and push people to that content. I think it's probably like a situation of coming at it from both angles and bringing those two things together. I think that's going to be kind of the solution there. And so hopefully, fingers crossed, going inside the Dark Ether Rifts in this instance will be a solution to that. So, I mean, the VR11 coming back as well. Why? Like, it's cool. I mean, it leaked yesterday as well, so this isn't like the biggest news in the world. I was at a gig last night. I was seeing Sammy Ray and the Friends, my favorite band in the world. It was so good. So I didn't make a video on the VR11. I made a video on Tier 4 Pack-a-Punch instead. That's actually linked on the screen right now as well if you want to give it a click. So Season 1 starts when? When does it start? 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 It starts in Season 1. Season 1. Full comms coming soon. Okay. It starts in Season 1. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Well, I've been MrRoflWaffles. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you haven't, let me know why in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time, okay? See you very soon. Bye for now.